A very warm welcome to you. It's always a pleasure to have you for company each week on the program. We remain your source for all the latest happenings in the world of business. My name is Lucy Nyambi. Affordable healthcare has and is still a problem in many countries, Nigeria inclusive. The Edo State government is, however, taking steps to make a difference in providing affordable healthcare to its people through the Edo State Health Insurance Commission. We joined Faith on the CEO Rendezvous, where she spoke in an exclusive interview with the Director General of the Commission, Dr. Roch Amago, who spoke on some of the successes and, of course, the challenges they have recorded since the establishment of the Commission. Let's hear him.
Contrary to, even thinking that many academians, accept many of these programs faster, on the contrary, it's a lie. All right, education and intellectual capacity seem to be a bias in this, because they will ask thousands of questions. What's the legislation behind it? If we go there and the doctors are not available, what do we do? Does it cover my mother and children? How many years will the lab? They ask thousands and thousands of questions because they have to dissect everything that you have asked them to do. But for the rural dwellers, sometimes it's actually easier when you tell them that, oh, if you're picking the sick, when you go hospital, if now 100 naira, you go pay 10 naira. Once they hear that positivity, they already, but those intelligent people, oh no, they will go back and forth and ask you thousands and thousands. Sometimes they have to go home to think and rethink and rethink and rethink before they come to say, they want to join the health insurance.
On this edition also, we will bring you highlights from the 2023 NAICOM Seminar for Insurance Journalists at the Ibom Resort, Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, under the theme, Improving Stakeholders' Perception 2023 and Beyond. The annual event, which is aimed at enriching the knowledge of insurance journalists for better reporting of the Commission's policies, had over 100 journalists in attendance. Let's check out excerpts. What more can I say than to urge you, as always, to spend this time with us. Details in just a moment. Hello. It's been a rough few months, I know. You've just bought a car, and 2 weeks ago you accidentally hit someone else in traffic. Now you've had to pay your mechanic to fix both cars. Then the other day, you get stopped by the authorities for incomplete papers, and now you've had to pay a heavy fine. Tough. Now you've parked your car at home, and the fear of something happening has stopped you from enjoying your car and living your best life. But what if I told you I have a solution for you? Ever heard of third-party motor insurance? Well, it's simple. For only a small premium payment of 15,000 naira, you get a massive shield of coverage of up to 3 million naira that protects you from unexpected accidents to other road users. Small premium, big coverage.
Enjoy the peace of mind you deserve and get your third-party motor insurance today for only 15,000 naira. This message is sponsored by the Insurers Committee of NAICOM. For more information or complaints on non-settlements of claims, please visit www.nicom.gov.ng or www.nigeriainsurance.org.
A very warm welcome to you. It's a pleasure to have you join us on the CEO Rendezvous.
On this edition of the program, I have the honor and privilege to be sitting with the Director General of the Edo State Health Insurance Commission, Dr. Rock AMEGOR. Together, we'll be looking at the fantastic job this commission is doing in Edo State. Thank you so very much, sir, for finding time to join us.
Thank you very much.
I used to pride myself as a very a Nigerian Igbo, but I've seen the better Igbo.
Hold on,
Thank you
madam.
for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Let me start off by saying what informed the state government to set up the Health Insurance Commission, and when was it set up?
Oh, okay. So that takes us to the basis, the foundation when we started. In 2017, we, after Governor Obaseki was elected, of course, he had a lot of, focused areas where he wanted change. First was education, others was health, and then infrastructural deficit, technology, and so on. But when we got to the health sector, we saw that there was a lot of decay in the health sector, owing to the fact that most of the laws or the operational guidelines, that they work with, started 20, 30 years ago and were in a different time. So in his wisdom, he set up a technical committee made up of people from different walks of life, WHO, UN, University of Benin, actually domesticated those technical working group. They worked for 2 years, all right? After 2 years, in 2019, it was signed to law in March 2019. And that same year, of course, the governor, you know how he is, went around searching for those who can do it, smart people. In fact, I think I was about 6th or 7th on the trail. After a series of interviews, I was appointed in August that same year to kickstart the Edo State Health Insurance scheme. And at the time, out-of-pocket spending was over 90%, all right? So we needed to find a structured way, a sustainable way where, people can go to healthcare facilities, they can get treated with paying little or next to nothing from their pocket, If you look at the two tenets of government, welfare and security, and then health falls into welfare. So in his commitment of doing that, that's why we were legislated by law in 2019 after the Technical Working Committee, and then I was appointed to take the duties of the Director General of the Health Insurance Commission.
Okay, fantastic. Something about our society is anything that has a stamp of government. Even before takeoff, people are already reacting in a very negative way towards it. But I've seen that this is an institution that has started barely a few years ago, and they are making a lot of inroad and impact. So far, what has been the response of the people generally?
Yeah. Very true, your question when you talked about people having aversion towards government policies and their fear of being sustainable. Soldier go, soldier come. They're always afraid that, once this regime finishes, it's the next one going to take over. And so when we started, we had all these challenges as well. And that's one of the reasons we went through the legislation, so that it is law, so that when Governor Obaseki is out, when I'm out, when everybody is out, our children will still sustain it. And so that's why we drove it to make sure that, it was constituted by law. Secondly, we needed to have a firm foundation. We took calculated risk, to say that what's the present day reality. We know that we're a highly consuming nation, and so the prices we started with 2 years ago are not the same prices now. So continually, as the market is being dynamic, we're also looking at the market and also, topping up the prices, especially when there's inflation, and in places where you see deflation, which is almost never set in here, and we do that, So we were doing some of all those processes, and as we were going on, government was also guiding us. Of course, people had a lot of aversion towards it when we started. Some people will go there and they will tell us, God forbid, I'm not going to fall sick. Why are you telling me to get health insurance? It's just like telling people to write their will, and they'll say, oh, are you professor, are you prophesying something bad? But we tell them that illness knows no man, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whether you're fat, you're slim, no matter what, everything has a beginning, everything also has an end. So whilst you're doing whatever you're doing, whatever journey you're in, we want you to have a quality journey, that's what the health insurance has also come to do, to make sure that your transition through life, you don't have to start worrying about out of pocket when I'm sick, if I have a surgery, if I have of course insurance cannot cover everything, but having that support system, that psyche behind you to know that somebody covers you. And so what we do here is that we make sure that we drive the process to the letter, all right, having a second or third level of validation, if you like, taken from Ministry of Health, the Hospital Management Board, and the Primary Health Center. So we try to communicate as much as possible. So when there's a deficit in those strata of care, we try to plug it. And so with the government also, taking it over, providing the enabling environment and the testimonials that we have had, many of those challenges, we've abated them. I can tell you today that 95% of the judges in those states are under the health insurance. And because, these success stories keep reverberating, it gives people the confidence, the trust that we're talking about. I actually believe that government can change, government can work better. When we started, we were also afraid, but now you see today that a lot of people are saying, oh, health insurance is doing well. So if other agencies, other parastatals are also able to drive, the vision that Governor Obaseki is trying to do, I think Edo State will be one of the most successful subnationals within our continent.
Okay, Doctor, you mentioned judges and all of that. I've come to realize that it's sometimes some of policies or changes, innovations, it's a lot easier when you're pushing it to those who are enlightened a little bit and all of that. But when it comes to those at the lower strand in the pyramid, it's always a very tough decision. But so far, in terms of your enrollees, is it a mix or is it only for those who are literate or who are urban dwellers?
I would say it's a mixture of both, all right, urban and rural dwellers, and not just to a particular cadre of, income earners. But contrary to, even thinking that many academias, accept many of these programs faster, on the contrary, it's a lie. All right, education and intellectual capacity seem to be a bias in this, because they will ask thousands of questions. What's the legislation behind it? If we go there and the doctors are not available, what do we do? Does it cover my mother and children? How many years will the lab? They ask thousands and thousands of questions because they have to dissect everything that you have asked them to do. But for the rural dwellers, sometimes it's actually easier when you tell them that, oh, if you're picking the sick, when you go hospital, if now 100 naira, you go pay 10 naira. Once they hear that positivity, they already, but those intelligent people, oh no, they will go back and forth and ask you thousands and thousands. Sometimes they have to go home to think and rethink before they come to say, they want to join the health insurance scheme. But so far, I think it's been a fair mixture of both strata in terms of rural and urban dwellers, rich and the poor. One other thing that has also worked for us, especially having many of these rural dwellers and the poorest of the poor, is that we have a lot of good-minded people, a lot of people who are sort of philanthropists in Edo State. Only recently, somebody from Edo North just paid for 200 people within their constituency, to make sure that they get free health care. And most of these people, about 90% of them are above 60 years, and they are the ones who probably don't have a, statutory or readily self-available income. And so that's very interesting. That's what a lot of people should also do. In doing that, we get more paying clients, we can cover more people, we can cover more benefits, we can bring more illnesses that other people do not cover because of the expense, because you now have a larger risk of pull. So on the whole, I think we are doing well, but of course, there's always room to improve, yes. Yeah.
Okay, so currently, what's your enrollee base?
Oh, okay. In the past 2 years, we have about 156,000 plus enrollees now. About 41 to 42,000 are non-paying of them. All right, this non-paying is what the federal government and the state government bring money together to pay for. So this about 42,000 people are classified into poor pregnant women, children under 5 years of age, people who live with permanent and physical disability, all right, indigent people who live in desolate areas where they don't have this minimum wage, who live below minimum wage. And of course, some pressure groups who are taking care of these people, the orphanages, the IDP camps. So government is trying to bring the poorest of the poorest into a safety net so that, as you are taking care of their health needs, other people are also taking care of it. Because the Bible acknowledges that the poor will always be with us. And so if you want to drive a process, all right, of inclusivity, you must try to bring those people into the fold. And so those people are covered into two plans. I will talk about the plans later. They are the basic healthcare provision plans for the very poor, and then the state equity plans as well. So our investments, our premium, percentage from our premiums, and also the government direct funding is what sources the income for us to pay for these vulnerable groups. And of course, the rest of them are paying, divided into students in tertiary institutes, our formal sector, the civil and public servants, and of course, the larger society.
Okay, no, so maybe we should just take a little bit of time to dwell on the different plan and some of the strategies for the federal government and also the part that the state government is looking after. Now, for those paying who are registered, what's the categorization of your different plans?
Oh, okay. So largely they are divided into two groups. All right. We call it the formal sector group and the informal sector group. Of course, the formal sector group are those who are employed by government. All right. The private organized group, large companies and corporate bodies who have more than 5 employees. All right. And the informal sector group who are self-employed businessmen, entrepreneurs, artisans, salonists, barbers, and the likes of it. All right. So in the formal sector group, what we did was that we said, if we're talking about welfare, and we know that there's a high index of poverty in our society, having a lot of people live less than $2 a day, according to statistics, we said that this group would make sure the employers and the employee contribute. All right. For the state government, the state government is contributing 50% of whatever insurance they have to bear, and then the salary deduction is another 50%. So what we did, based on equity, we made it a 1.75 deduction of their gross salary. So hypothetically, if you're earning 10,000 naira, all right, the government will pay 1,750 on your behalf if you're earning 10,000 naira, all right, and then you will take another 1,750 on your behalf from your salary.
Welcome back. Moving on, we now bring you highlights from the NAICOM seminar for insurance journalists in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. The high point of the annual platform is the open forum that allows journalists to take on top management of the commission in a no-holds-barred question and answer session. Happy viewing.
The National Insurance Commission, NAICOM, recently put together its annual seminar for insurance and pension editors and finance reporters from Lagos and Abuja at the Ibom Hotel and Resort, Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. The annual seminar is a constant on the Commission's annual calendar. This year's edition was organized under the theme Improving Stakeholders' Perception 2023 and Beyond. The seminar kicked off with Welcome Cocktail, where journalists had an interactive session with the Commissioner for Insurance, Mr. O.S. Thomas.
5, 6, 10 years down the line, we're still saying that insurance penetration is not up to 1%. Is it true? If it is true, what can we do more to push it up?
Responding to some of the questions, Mr. Thomas stated that the sector is on course as regards insurance penetration.
If you look at what is penetration on its own, penetration is insurance content of the nation's GDP. When you have, and the GDP is of a nation, can also be impacted by macroeconomic factors. Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa. So for us to have a meaningful penetration, the volume of transaction in Nigeria must be something else. And it's not that it is not. We talk about penetration. If you go to some climes, some of the jurisdictions, what we have right now will not, if you assess our penetration, at the last count, we're talking about 17 trillion in pension funds. If you add that to the premium and add that to employee compensation fund, all these are insurance funds. If we put it on the nation's GDP, you can't be talking of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5%.
The seminar kicked off proper on day 2 with a presentation on the insurance sector and the Nigerian economy in the past 8 years, impact, challenges, and the new frontiers. Presenter was Dr. Usman Jakara, Assistant Director, Corporate Strategy and Special Duties, NAICOM, said that discussions are ongoing for insurers to begin to publish the names of claimants in the newspapers to come for their claims.
The Commission has taken a decision, and that decision was taken at the Insurance Committee, to the effect that insurance companies must then review their claims, they must then write individually to these claimants, and they must then publish in national dailies inviting claimants that have outstanding claims to do. The process of enforcing and ensuring that that decision of the Insurance Committee is implemented is ongoing. Of course, the Commission has also issued a circular to that effect. Of course, there were issues, and that circular hopefully is being reviewed to ensure that a new one is issued.
The second paper of the seminar focused on reawakening the Nigerian insurance industry through claim settlements. Presenter was Mrs. Augustina Onojake, Assistant Director, Complaints Bureau Life. In her presentation, Mrs. Onojake noted that claim settlement is a reason for insurance contracts. The third paper focused on leveraging technology to promote insurance inclusiveness. Presenter was Mr. Ibrahim Gaski, Assistant Director, Information Technology, NAICOM. In his presentation, Mr. Gaski said that the deployment of technology will help insurers overcome the challenge of lengthy policy wordings. The last paper presentation by Mr. Bubakar Adeyemi focused on service delivery, a panacea to an effective and efficient growth in insurance industry, the role of the media. He employed insurers to make sure that insurance services are delivered as at when due. The high point of the seminar is the open forum that allows insurance journalists engage top management of NAICOM on the papers presented and other areas of concerns.
People ask questions, I'll pay claims, what is my benefit? And I know that there is a benefit in Takafu. If you didn't incur any claim, you share from the surplus and the profits. Why is the Commission not actually projecting such benefits?
Responding to some of the questions raised, Dr. Jankara noted that the role of NAICOM is to ensure a level playing field for all operators in the market.
NAICOM cannot insist that commercial insurance must operate a Takafu business model or a Takafu operating that. So the essence is to create that choice to consumers. And so that's the essence. As to how we're not projecting that, again, as regulators, it's like a father. You're giving birth to different children. You can't be projecting one at the expense of the other. You need to be very careful. Thank you.
The seminar ended with a closing dinner where journalists were treated to the hospitality of Akwa Ibom State.
Hello. It's been a rough few months, I know. You've just bought a car and 2 weeks ago you accidentally hit someone else in traffic. Now you've had to pay your mechanic to fix both cars. Then the other day, you get stopped by the authorities for incomplete papers, and now you've had to pay a heavy fine. Tough. Now you've parked your car at home, and the fear of something happening has stopped you from enjoying your car and living your best life. But what if I told you I have a solution for you? Ever heard of third-party motor insurance? Well, it's simple. For only a small premium payment of 15,000 naira, you get a massive shield of coverage of up to 3 million naira that protects you from unexpected accidents to other road users. Small premium, big coverage.
Enjoy the peace of mind you deserve and get your third-party motor insurance today for only 15,000 naira. This message is sponsored by the Insurance Committee of NAICOM. For more information or complaints on non-settlements of claims, please visit www.nicom.gov.ng or www.nigeriainsurance.org.
That's our time on the program this week. I do hope you have enjoyed every moment spent with us. Join us again next week for another exciting package. But in the meantime, feel free as always to connect with us on all our social media platforms. Now, if you miss any part of the program, not to worry, just go to our YouTube channel, Almond Finance TV. Subscribe and see tons of interesting conversations and events from both the local and international scene. My name is Lucy Nyambi, and until next time, it's goodbye.